everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So I have a really fun video that I have for you today, and I'm thinking about turning it into a series. So let me know if this is something you'd be interested in. But I saw a prompt somewhere, who knows, Instagram, BookTube, TikTok, somewhere, that was 3 favorites by 3 favorites. So I thought I would take a look at the books that I have at some of my favorite authors, because I have a lot of them, and kind of divide it up by genres and pick 3 favorite authors to talk about and my 3 favorite books by those authors. So hopefully to get you into maybe finding a new author you might love, narrowing down your choices of which books to start by them, and we'll go from there. So most of these I have read multiple books by these authors. In fact, one of them, I think Ruta Sepetys, I've read to 0. So we've got some good picks here. So these are the books that I would say you need to pick up and read by these 3 favorite authors if you're going to give them a try. So we'll go through some historical fiction recommendations first. I'm going to dive into thrillers and romance. We'll do a whole bunch of them if it's something that you want. I think it will be. I think it's going to be pretty fun. All right, so the first author I'm going to talk about is Susan Meisner. Definitely a big fan of hers. Love her books. I love her writing. I love her characters. They make you just fall in love with them and what they're going through. Sometimes she'll write multiple point of views, but majority, I guess, of the 3 that I have, it's a little bit of both, I think. Yeah. So first one I want to talk about is The Nature of Fragile Things. Susan Meisner, of course. This is, I believe, her newest release that came out. And this follows the earthquake that happened in, I don't want to get the year wrong, 1906 in San Francisco. It was a pretty major earthquake that led to a number of fires. It broke up a lot of families. People didn't know where people were. It was a pretty big, devastating event. So this one follows Irish immigrant. Her name is Sophie. She decides to answer a mail order bride ad and agrees to marry a man she knows nothing about and move to San Francisco. She quickly develops a deep affection for Kat, which is her new now husband. What's his name? Martin. It's his silent 5-year-old daughter. But Martin is pretty odd. It gives her an uneasy feeling that something's not right. Then one spring evening, a stranger at the door sets in motion a transforming chain of events. Sophie discovers hidden ties to 2 other women. The first, pretty and pregnant, is standing on her doorstep. The second is hundreds of miles away in the American Southwest. The fates of these 3 women intertwine in the eve of the devastating earthquake, thrusting them into a journey that will test their resiliency and resolve, and ultimately the belief that love can overcome fear. I loved Sophie. I loved her character. Like, her perseverance was fantastic. And then an interesting relationship she develops with these other women. There's definitely some secrets around this. The thing that I like about what Susan Meisner does is she gives you more than just the event that she's writing around. There's more to it. So definitely one of my top 3. Next I have As Bright as Heaven. Again, Susan Meisner. This came out right before the pandemic. I ended up reading it during the COVID pandemic, which was interesting because this follows the Spanish flu. So this basically takes place during World War I, but we are stateside. We are in Philadelphia, I believe, and we follow 3 daughters, Evelyn, Maggie, and Willa. They have just moved to Philadelphia because their father is now going to be, he's going to run a funeral home now in Philadelphia, looking for a better life for the girls. And they open this up right before this Spanish flu pandemic hits. So of course their lives are upended. The city is hit really, really hard. And the parallels between reading this and then going through COVID at the same time was very interesting. And I think that probably made it a little bit of a better enjoyable experience for me. But you can't help but fall in love with these 3 girls, and just your heart goes out to them. And Susan does this to you throughout her every single one of her books. But I really liked this one. And then my favorite book by Susan Meisner is also the first one I read by her, Secrets of a Charmed Life. This is a World War II retelling following 2 oh no, this one is dual timeline. So we have present day and then 1940s England. So during the World War II, we have two girls. What are their names? Emmy and Julia. They're sisters. They end up finding refuge in the country. They are one of the many, many children that were sent out of London during this time to keep them safe. And we go from there. It was really great. The present day story follows Kendra. She interviews Isabel McFarland, an elderly woman ready to give up her secrets. And so that's how this story kind of starts and takes you back in time. So I still think of this book. It's fantastic. I loved it. So those are my 3 favorites by Susan Meisner. Next up, we have Ruta Sepetys, which I have read every single one of Ruta Sepetys' books. I have seen her speak a couple of times. I can't get enough Ruta Sepetys in my life. If you ever have a chance to go to an author event by her, I've gone to 2 of them. She is so lovely and fascinating, and the amount of heart and soul she puts into her books is like no other. I feel like it's a rare thing. These books are truly part of her. She also picks really interesting historical events that she will write her books around. So the first one I want to talk about is The Fountains of Silence. This one is following, oh, I forgot I got this signed. This takes place in Madrid, 1957. So we are under the dictatorship of General Francisco Franco. It's not good, but they're opening up Spain to tourists and foreign businessmen to hopefully get some money coming into for their economy. One of these people that comes is an 18-year-old boy named Daniel. He's the son of an oil tycoon who's hoping to connect with the country of his mother's birth. So they're in Spain visiting. Fate introduces him to Anna, and her family is living in the grasp of the Spanish Civil War and dealing with the realities of the Spanish Civil War, which is being hid from these tourists that are coming into Spain at this time. Really interesting. Again, a piece of history I did not know about, and Ruta will take you on a deep dive, and it's fantastic. All right. Second book I want to talk to you about that I loved is I Must Betray You. This one takes place in the 80s in Romania. Again, look, it's signed. Again, another one of a story I did not know much about at all. And I mean, I was a kid, but I don't remember ever learning about this. So this is, we follow Christian, and he's 17. He has dreams of becoming a writer, but Romanians are not free to dream. They are bound by very strict rules. It's a very, what's the word I'm thinking of? They're not allowed to do much of anything. Like, they do not have a lot of freedoms. This dictator that is ruling them, his name, Nikolai. Oh, he's horrible. He's horrible. The other thing that happens and what Nikolai has kind of infiltrated into the public is this like idea of spies among us. Like, you can't trust anybody because there's incentives for turning people in. And Christian he's done. He wants to be part of a revolution and try to get themselves out of this. And that's where our story goes. It's really, really good and took me down a rabbit hole because of a ton of things I did not know. And then my favorite book by Ruta Sepetys is Salt to the Sea. This one does take place during World War II. We're winter of 1945. We have 4 teenagers that we are following who are refugees. They are all on a quest to get to the Wilhelm Gustave, which is a ship that promises safety and freedom as long as they can get there in time. So there we go. And we follow these 4 teenagers. And the really great thing about this book is how short the chapters are. You go from character to character to character really quickly. You'll fly through these. Ruta does tend to write more of an YA genre, so I feel like I fly through them a little bit, but they can honestly resonate with anybody. I think they're fantastic. I think she does an amazing job and definitely one of my favorite historical fiction writers. And then the last author I want to talk about is Ellen Mary Wiseman. I have 3 books that I've read by her. First one is The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. This one follows Sage. Oh, and it's based on a true story. And this was hard to read. I'm not going to lie to you, but so interesting. So Sage has always known her sister was a little different. They love the same things and shared an understanding, but Rosemary seemed to need more protection from the world. 6 years after Rosemary's death from pneumonia, Sage is 16 and misses her dearly. Her mother perished in a car accident, and Sage's stepfather resents being burdened by a responsibility he never wanted. How wonderful, right? I mean, come on. So Sage is stunned to discover that Alan has kept a shocking secret. Rosemary didn't die. She was committed to Willowbrook State School and has lingered there till just a few days ago when she went missing. So Sage goes to the school to try to figure things out and figure out what happened, but Sage looks exactly like Rosemary and gets mistaken for Rosemary. And we go from there. And unfortunately, this is based on a real place. Some of the things in this book really did happen. It's sad. But yeah, I love the story because Ellen Marie Wiseman is amazing. She writes such good books. Then we have What She Left Behind, and I don't know where my copy of this is. Who knows? I borrowed it to somebody. Don't know. But this one follows a woman. I'm trying to think of time period. Probably 1940s, whatever. She is kind of married off to this man. Her father had arranged this marriage. She's not happy with this marriage. She does not love this man. She ends up going with him, and she wants to leave him. She's not happy. So what does he do? He has her committed to an insane asylum. So maybe this is more like late 1800s, early 1900s. She has her committed, so she's perfectly fine, but in amongst a world where not everybody is, and just this whole premise around the fact that you weren't able to kind of speak for yourselves. If you didn't toe the line, you were just committed. So that's basically that story. That does have a dual timeline perspective to it. So present day is a number of characters going through the remnants from this institution and finding kind of this story and then investigating and trying to figure out what happened. So another really great read. Love that one. But my favorite Ellen Marie Wiseman book by far is The Life She Was Given. This one is 1930s. We have Lily. She glimpses circus lights from her window in her attic bedroom, where she's not allowed to leave the attic. She's never ventured beyond her room. Her mom insists it's for her own protection, that people would be afraid if they saw her. But on an unforgettable night, Lily is taken outside for the first time and sold to the circus. And we go from there. And it's so good. It's so good. My favorite by far. So those are my three faves by three faves. 3 favorite books by 3 of my favorite authors. I will leave links to all of them below. Please let me know in the description if this is something you want me to continue. Please let me know if you maybe agree with these. I mean, I've read other books by them, but these are just my favorites. But give me some honorable mentions if you want to. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And I will see you next time. Bye.